Hello, everyone. And today we're going to be talking about this writing some type of editing checklist. So, this is going to be a mini make and take because I want to see your designs. And real quick, I'm going to explain what this is. So, on slide 2, I made this in Canva, this example. So, if you go down here in the speaker notes, if you want to change or add anything, right here's the template and you're able to kind of make a copy and edit this template for your own classroom use. Make sure when you are sharing your own examples, you include like any Canva links or any links that are back to the original so people can make a copy of that if they need to. And then also, please include your Twitter or who you are when you're creating these. So, right here is my writing checklist. And again, I made it in Canva. And what I'm thinking is with this editing checklist, is my students are going to write. And so they might write on a piece of paper, they might write in a Google Doc. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to have this projected onto the classroom projector. It's going to be projected up on the board so my students can see, or I could print out this poster. And my students are going to get really familiar with these different editing places that I want them to do. And so, for example, for editing writing, I want them to take more ownership of their editing. I don't want to just go into their Google Doc and say, like, this is spelled wrong. This is, there needs to be punctuation right here, and it's this punctuation. I want my students to be able to kind of start to explore and create some of that own ownership in their writing. And so they're writing, let's say, here's their piece of paper. And then I can go in and I can mark 1. And then they can look at the poster, at the board, and they can go, oh, that's a spelling error. I need to use my resources. Maybe it's Google, maybe it's a friend, maybe it is, looking at the word again or whatever they need to do and make those different corrections. And again, all you're doing on your student's paper is you're just writing the number 1 if they made a spelling error. If there's no capital letters, I'm going to all those different places and I'm putting like a 6 near that area. If maybe they plagiarized and they copied right from Google, I'm putting a number 5. And again, my students will look on the board and they'll go, oh, 5 means plagiarism. I can't copy and paste this. I need to rewrite this in my own words. So again, that is how kind of the writing works and how the editing kind of checklist is going to play. And now we're going to make our own for fractions. And again, this is editable, so you can come in and you're able to add your own editing checklist as long as you're in the Google group. And so just grab a blank new slide, add your name in the speaker notes, and then get creating. So I'm going to do one on fractions because we are about to cover that, and I just did one on writing. So now I want to show a math example. Okay, so my students, fractions, probably adding and subtracting is what this one's going to apply to. And again, I'm just going in designing my poster. You can create this in Canva, Adobe, Spark. You could create this wherever, Google Draw if you wanted to. Okay, so right there, I've got kind of my fractions, adding and subtracting. I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to insert a table for this one. And I have 4 different steps that they're going to kind of do. So the first one that they need to be able to do is they need to be able to find common denominators. And so if my students don't do that, they're going to get a number 1 on their paper. Number 2, they need to make sure that their numerators, whatever they did to the bottom of their denominators, they need to do that to their numerators. Number 3, they're going to solve. So if they don't solve it correctly, they're going to get a number 3 on their paper. And again, that means that their common denominators and their numerators are good to go. They just didn't add something or subtract something correctly. Number 4, maybe they need to reduce, okay? And they didn't reduce correctly. So it's taking that multi-step kind of problem. You could do this maybe with division. And it's just kind of taking those steps and having the kids know, hey, this is where I'm seeing some errors. This is where things need to be corrected. And then students can go in based on that number, look at the poster, look at the board, and they can make those corrections. Okay, and now we're going to make it pretty. So what I like to do with these is, of course, find some colors that are going to look really great. Let me go ahead and kind of make this table a little bit bigger. And I could even provide like an example down here for my students when they're solving common denominator, like what does that mean? What does that mean? I can kind of, again, if my students need that scaffold and that support, I can provide that for them in this box. So maybe after I print this, I might go in and add an example for them to see what does that mean and what does that look like. Okay, let's look at color in Canva. I'm feeling Canva today. Kind of like this one. Oh yeah, this one's gonna be the winner. So again, I'm just going in, I'm adding my custom colors. I'm gonna change the background. So it's this like pinkish color. Going in, grabbing this spearmint. And just adding some color graphics for my students so that way they can kind of see what's happening. All right, I'm going to put I think I'm going to go ahead and put in maybe some examples. So like with this, I also like to use like the step-by-step process. And there's another video that goes with step-by-step. So I will also link that in this, I'll put the step-by-step down here. So that way, if you want to see that, it can again help students. So I've got right here, they're going to find common denominators. And I have a video that they could watch. So I could maybe, if this is a digital poster for my students, I could put that video link right here. I could, solve an example showing them how to actually do those different steps if I wanted to. So that could be really helpful for my students if that's something that maybe, again, that they need as a support. So with common denominators, I'm going to go ahead and do that video idea. And I'm going to go over to the noun project, which has a ton of free icons. And I'm going to search video. I really like, let's do this one. Oops, right here. And again, I use timestamps in these videos. So if you are interested in this like step-by-step idea, I'm going to link that again. But it's just breaking up multiple step directions for students. And it's just nice because, again, I use timestamps in this fraction video. And so then I can go in and I can tell my students, hey, watch just this part of the video. Watch this video or whatever they need to do to be able to solve those different fractions. Okay, so again, I could do videos. I might, if I printed this, do an example. It's kind of hard to do some math when I don't have it printed, but that could be another idea if I wanted to do that as well. Okay, let's go ahead and try to center this. Okay, right about there. That looks great. And then again, I can add examples, I can add whatever, and I cannot wait to see your examples as well. So add another slide, add your name onto the slide, and let me see what you're thinking. How could you use these editing checklists for students to become more independent? And all they have on their piece of paper is that like number 1. So if I go in and I just write that number 1, my students know that they need to fix their common denominators. They need to fix whatever they need to fix based on that number. And it can cause some of that independence in their learning and some starting of that ownership to know, oh, I'm missing this step, or I need to fix this problem because I missed this part of it. Students will again start to take ownership and begin to understand and try to understand all of the different steps as they're solving different things. So again, can't wait to see your examples and what you share.